Some men's DNA should die out. Some men do not deserve the continued bloodline or the legacy. Stop risking your life to create a duplicate of that man, especially if you know that man does not deserve the beautiful baby that you will give birth to or the sacrifice of your body to make that child. I've always felt this way, but I feel super compelled now to say this more than ever before, okay? Because we are in 2026 in this version of America. This is not the time for these games. This is not the time to take relationships, dating, pregnancies, any of that as a joke anymore. It is 2026, and there are men in our government, okay, on Twitter sharing that they do not believe women should have the right to vote. Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, decided to share a video of his pastor being interviewed. And his pastor in that interview says very loud and clear that the vote should be by household and women shouldn't vote. Do some research on that and definitely look that up because it 1000% happened. They have rolled back Roe v. Wade and now they're gunning for birth control. Women are losing jobs right now at record numbers. Protections for women in the workplace have been removed. There is a very clear agenda here. They want women to give birth to more babies because the population of this country is in decline. They want women to be dependent on men and stay at home housewives so we can give birth to more babies. They have been gunning for all the jobs where women are the majority of those people in the field, like nursing. They recently said that nursing wasn't a real job. I don't think that's a coincidence. And whether you're pro life or pro choice, what's happening now is they are eliminating one by one any opportunity you have to make a decision about whether you want to give birth to a child or not. They don't want you to have any access to birth control. They are taking away protections for women in the workforce. They want you uncomfortable going to work. Mhm. And now they are proudly sharing content saying that women should not have the right to vote. And if you don't believe me, let's have a look at how this government views women, shall we? I know I already talked about Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, but I feel like to drive this home and to make all of you understand how serious this is actually getting, let's take another look at something else he said out of his own mouth that proves exactly what I'm trying to get across to you. Pete Hegseth, or should I say, can't do a pull up, went on a podcast and he literally said out of his own mouth, and I quote, I'm straight up saying that we shouldn't have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, it hasn't made us more lethal, and it has made fighting more complicated. And if you're still not convinced and you need me to give you more, let's do that, okay? So this reads, in April, Huffington Post reported that the majority of CDC, Center for Disease Control, and Prevention Division of Reproductive Health was laid off, and two of the three main programs of Maternity and Infant Health Division were eradicated. The signs are all there, okay? They are setting this stage up in a very, very particular way. Am I nervous? Yeah, I'm nervous. Okay, this is like real. This is like really happening in real time. Okay, they are making sure in every way possible that we're kind of cornered into having children. They want us cornered to make sure we can't make decisions with our own bodies. They are cornering us to make sure we can't even have the right to vote. And that circles right back to the original point that I was trying to make. Bringing a child into this world already wasn't a joke, okay? But now while all this is going on, this is really ladies, this is really not the best time, okay? Not the best time to be having children with just any old man that you like for the moment. There are a lot of women that die giving birth. There are some women with severe complications after giving birth, and some of them can't be reversed. Your body may change. You may gain weight. You may get scars. You may have stretch marks. You may have a mommy pouch. A lot of women experience postpartum depression, and some women unfortunately have miscarriages or stillbirths. Why would you put yourself at risk in the year 2026, okay, in the United States of America, while all of this stuff is happening, okay, that are directly affecting women all over this country, okay, to have a child for a man that doesn't deserve it? Honey, I would rather women have no children at all than to have children by men that don't deserve it. You all need to start vetting these men, watching them. And if you watch any of my other videos about dating and relationships, you know that I've always told women to zip it. And not zip it because the man should be in control. Zip it because you need to be watching him, observing him, paying attention to him. If he has any behaviors that show you he's not going to be a good husband, notice I said husband, I'll get to that. If he's not going to be a good husband or a good father, right? Desire to actually be a father, not just have children, because there's a difference, right? If you see any red flags, you need to get rid of them. And this is the year. This is no game anymore. Get rid of him. And honey, I know some of y'all are not going to like this part. Mhm. But I'm going to say it with my whole chest, okay? I'm going to say it with my whole chest. Marry before you carry. Bars. I understand there are some women that don't want to get married, totally respect it. Hoo hoo hoo. But for me, I would not even get an inkling of a thought of a child if I didn't even have a ring on my finger. And I am so serious about that. And it's not just to show off how beautiful my ring is, it's because you get certain protections when you're a wife that you don't get when you're a baby mama. They're trying to rip all our protections away from us. So the little bit of protections we have, we need to like cash in on those, honey. And I know there are women that are like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter if you do everything the right way. They're still going to cheat. They're still going to run on you. They're still going to do this. Girl, we know. That's why you're supposed to get your paperwork in order. That's why you're not supposed to be dumb and fall in love without getting everything in order. Marriage is still a business, and I need y'all to remember that. I recommend all assets you have, make sure your name is on it. Make sure your name's on it, everything. And it's not just for the wealth and the money. It's because if something happens to that man, you're on your own and you need those assets. And if you're messing around with a man that has no assets, what are you doing? America is becoming a very scary place for women. This is not the time to just pop out a child and be irresponsible. Now is the time to smarten up and get it together, or you are going to be a woman that suffers the most in this country moving forward.